All right, so that's getting started. Perfect. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Really excited to see all of you. Thank you for whoever's letting people into the waiting room. There's a bit of a wait there. Thanks so much. All right, my name is Joe. I am with Clean Virginia Waterways. Probably met a lot of you last month at, can't remember, I think that was maybe the first meeting I took over, but very excited to be here at VP3N and happy to see all of you. Today's topic is about the International Coastal Cleanup and cleanups around Virginia. So we're going to learn about the history of the International Coastal Cleanup through Ocean Conservancy, how Clean Virginia Ways has addressed that in Virginia, and then we'll hear from some awesome panelists about their experiences organizing and hosting cleanups throughout Virginia. And the hope is that you will hear some good advice, you can ask questions. This is meant for a dialogue so you can understand how to host a cleanup or organize it in your area with your organization, your locality, whatever is of interest to you. But first, I'm going to look at the agenda. I'm going to put the agenda link in the chat so that we all have access to that. I just want to share a few things from Clean Virginia Waterways. We've got some really exciting events coming up that we'd like you all to be aware of as well. So first up, we have the International Coastal Cleanup is in full swing right now. August through November is the prime ICC season. So we've got lots of awesome registrations on our website through Clean Virginia Waterways, and we are always happy to put up more, send you some supplies. So feel free to check that out on our website and register your cleanup. We also have a stormwater workshop September 9th at Pocahontas State Park, which is near Richmond. We'll be hearing from speakers about national and statewide initiatives for stormwater, and especially how it relates to marine debris. And we also have a fundraiser for Clean Virginia Waterways on September 27th. This is a paddle fundraiser for 1 or 4 miles, depending on what you would like to do. There are kayak and boat rentals for this paddle out, and that will be at Ballyhoo's in Virginia Beach. And again, those links are in the agenda. So I want to hear from any of you. If you'd like to introduce yourselves, put your name, your organization, your location in the chat. Thank you, Tara, for putting in those links in the chat. And feel free to come off mute and let us know if you have any updates, any events you want to advertise. You just want to say hi and introduce yourself, feel free to do that. I'll give you a few seconds to come off mute.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Michael Lewis. I'm from Petersburg, Virginia.
Thanks for being here. And who are you with, Michael?
I'm with myself right now.
Awesome. Great to have you. Thanks so much.
I love Petersburg. Such a great place. My name is Tara Pascarosa. I work with Clean Virginia Waterways, and I just really want to say how impressed I am with Joe and taking over this meeting. He's been such an asset to our team. And as Joe indicated, I shared a couple links in the chat. So make sure you're checking out the chat, putting your name and everything in there. And I just want to emphasize, he already mentioned the Paddle for Cleaner Waterways, but it's a really great event that we're planning. We want people to paddle with us. We would love to have people help spread the word with the flyers. So I'm going to put those flyers in the chat too for everybody. We'd love to see you help just spread the word. If you want to post the flyer, or we can have it on social media too. So check out our sites there. And if you know of anyone that's interested in sponsoring, feel free to reach out to me. Again, my email's in the chat. And just thanks again to Joe's leadership for these meetings. We really appreciate you, Joe. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Tara. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my socially awkward best. Thanks, Mark, Abby, in the chat. Nice to see you both. Emily, go ahead. You raise your hand. You're muted.
The hand down, but I never unmute myself.
There we go.
Hey guys, it's Christina, the director of Clean Virginia Waterways, and Emily and I are hanging out together in the office on the same computer. I second what Tara said. Thank you, Joe, for running these meetings, and excited about today's conversation. I just wanted to give a shout out to the VP3N network 5-year anniversary. August of 2020 was our first meeting. So this is actually 5 years of bringing together organizations throughout Virginia and beyond, even to talk about the issue of plastic pollution and come up with some ideas and share ideas. And we're just working together to keep marine debris out of our waterways. So yay, go team.
That's awesome. And how serendipitous that the 5-year anniversary is about the International Coastal Cleanup, which is how Clean Virginia Ways really got started.
Yes. And I think one of our first meetings was probably about the same thing, because it would have been about the same time. So yeah, when Katie was director, and Katie has been running the ICC, or had been running the ICC. That's actually, like you said, why Clean Virginia Waterways started since 1995. So we are the next generation.
Yes. And welcome Wendy and Dylan in the chat. Nice to see you both. A couple other quick updates. Aside from the Virginia Plastic Pollution Prevention Network, Clean Virginia Waterways also has another work group dedicated to the foam phase out in Virginia. And so, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. We have another one about plastic bags, the plastic bag fee initiative across Virginia. And if you would like to be added to that listserv and calendar invite, feel free to put your name in the chat so I can contact you later and add you to that listserv, or email me separately. The foam phase out is a work group that we are getting started very soon. And this is for anyone who wants to learn more about the foam phase out, wants to be involved in the initiative to help businesses phase out foam food containers. So starting next year on July 1st, all food vendors will not be allowed to use foam takeout containers or food containers. Right now, it is any food vendor with a location with more than 20 locations that cannot use foam. So over the next year, this work group is going to help these food vendors and distributors phase out foam justly and easily. So as we get that started, if you are interested, please feel free to take a look at the when to meet that I put in the chat, and just fill out your general availability. I just want to know what days and times are generally available for people to meet before I set up the first meeting. And again, that is also in the agenda at the top of the chat. I'm going to put the agenda to the link in the chat again, because there are some people who have joined who the messages may not have shown up for. All right, that's all the updates I had. So now we'll get into the presentation part of the VP3N meeting. I have a short video from Sarah Weller at Ocean Conservancy. Unfortunately, a lot of people at Ocean Conservancy are celebrating their 40th anniversary of the International Coastal Cleanup. And so they're in Alaska, I believe, doing a grand cleanup. So I have a video to share that talks about the background, the history, the results of the International Coastal Cleanup, and especially how it pertains to Virginia. So bear with us for that pre-recorded video. After that, I'll introduce Heather, Jennifer, and Emily, our panelists, who will speak about their experiences hosting cleanups, hosting and organizing cleanups. So with that, I will share the tab and I'll get that video going. And when I play it, just give me a thumbs up if you can hear the audio.
Hi everyone, Sarah Weller here with Ocean Conservancy's International Coastal Cleanup Team, part of our Trash Free Seas program. I'm sorry I cannot be there in person, but I hope this short recording is informative for you, whether you're familiar with the International Coastal Cleanup or not. I'm here today to provide a quick history, a little bit of an overview of kind of the process and how it all works from year to year, and then talking briefly about some of our data collection tools, other resources available, and yeah, where we're heading. So far we're 4 decades in. We're celebrating the 40th anniversary of the ICC in 2025. And we're really thrilled to hear of so many partners globally who are planning events for the coming months ahead. So first, how we got started. Back in 1986, 2 women, part of our predecessor organization, we weren't Ocean Conservancy quite yet, but Linda Moranis and Kathy
One second while I figure that out.
Were at the moment, which was on the Texas Gulf Coast. And they decided to not only do a cleanup, since, picking up trash out of the environment's been happening for eons, but they had the foresight to want to track the types and amount of debris that was being collected. So that aspect of data collection and recording what's being found, that's really kind of the DNA of the ICC and has grown with it over the years. They picked, I think it was just arbitrarily, they chose a Saturday in September, the third Saturday of September, that was going to be their cleanup day. And as I've learned, there were a lot of logistics involved in that first cleanup. I think there were some small planes that were taken out to very remote coasts. But all to say, the teams that did spread out and did cleanups in Texas, they recorded diligently every item that was found and removed, the weight of the debris, all of those great statistics. So thanks to that kind of legacy, the ICC has blossomed from there. I think it went international with Mexico, Canada in 1988. There were a number of states that joined right away the second year. I think Virginia was one of the very early adopters, folks in Virginia doing cleanups as well. And yeah, from there, we have this amazing historic data set of data collected by volunteers. So this aspect of citizen science data collection, it's really the bread and butter of the ICC and what makes it stand out. And it's a really, really special event. And people come out year after year. We hear from families who, like, generations have come out. So it's really special to see and how folks have adapted the cleanup to where they're located and how it's moved into inland waterways as well. It's not just beach or coastal cleanups anymore. So Ocean Conservancy, that even that first year, we made a report on all the items collected in that data. So we still hold that role. We manage the cleanup at a number of angles. The data collection and the storage is very important to us, and we take that very seriously. We still create an annual report every single year, kind of following the past calendar year. There's a little bit of a delay there. Since now the ICC happens in over 100 countries every year, it does take us quite a bit of time to gather those data from partners, from all the disparate cleanups happening in so many shorelines and coasts. But we really do love to publish these data. The reports are one thing. You'll hear from me in a minute. There's a database as well. We want the data to be used, and they truly are, and they have been over the years. And we have some amazing examples of how the data have helped inform policy change, innovative packaging redesign, all sorts of stories like that. And a lot of them can be found in our library of past ICC reports. These are all available on our website on a page. If you just search ICC reports in the website, you can find it. I can also share any of them with you as well if you're interested. But we've always tracked trends like the global top 10, like you see here. Back in the day, it used to be the dirty dozen, the top 12 items collected. And a lot of these, probably for the past decade, haven't changed too much. And these items are probably going to look very familiar to you. Very common consumer kind of single-use plastic goods is really what we're tackling now at a global scale. So how the data get recorded, you might be familiar with our paper data card. We know many partners have their own systems in place too, which is fantastic. Ocean Conservancy's kind of philosophy here is we'll take data in just about any format you want to give it to us, any way that volunteers are willing to collect those numbers, those stats, and we'll try to make it fit into our system. The CleanSwell app is kind of our latest and greatest tool that helps us do that, taking the paper data card and that itemized data collection process and kind of putting it into the palm of your hand. And as always, cleanups find great ways to adapt and be flexible. Not everybody has to be collecting data. It can be done in teams, it can be done in transects or in kind of smaller subsamples. So if you're curious about really diving into the data collection, we have some guides created that have gathered best practices and tips and tricks from partners all over the world and years of doing this with volunteers to help us really hone in on and finesse that process. And just a little bit more about the app, since this is the newest tool, and you've probably heard me talk about this a bit as well. We have posters we can share, we have little ads, PDFs that we can share that have these QR codes to download. Some of the more common questions that we get, we've kind of have some answers here on this slide. But it's really been a fantastic tool, and it launched in 2016 alongside the database, which I'll show you in a second here. And it was really a fantastic tool during the COVID-19 pandemic when we couldn't get together in groups. A lot of people were able to do small solo cleanups using the app and still kind of tracking their impact. And we've been able to update it with items as trends have changed over time. And we've seen things like PPE showing up in the environment, or vape cartridges, e-cigarettes, that sort of thing. So we do try to stay with the times and evolve the data that are being collected in a way that still allows us to kind of analyze these data looking backwards as well into the historic data set. So where did the data go? Like I mentioned earlier, we wanted the data to be accessible. It's really key for Ocean Conservancy, not only our own kind of policy and advocacy work, but that of others as well, of our partners. We know the numbers are helpful in grant reporting and grant applications, all sorts of uses there. And then, of course, to help push science and our understanding of the ocean plastic pollution crisis, the marine debris issue, and then really be used for implementing change, policy change from the very local levels, such as smoking bans on beaches, all the way up to national plastic bag bans. And the data are being utilized for the negotiations of the International Plastics Treaty. So it is a system that we care very much about. We're very proud of the system, and we hope you are too, because if you've ever done a cleanup, chances are you are contributing to this system here. And I'm going through this very quickly, but if you have any questions, I have my email at the end, and we can always, stay in touch that way if you have any questions, concerns. We also do host a webinar just specifically about how to use the Cleanswell app. And then we host another webinar all about that TIDES database and how you could access the data, how you can enter data manually from your own paper data cards, all that good stuff. So you're welcome to join those as well, or view a recording. Lastly, this is my last slide. I just wanted to give a shout out to how far the ICC has come in Virginia specifically. You've got your overall stats there. So this is in all, I think, almost 40 years. I think Virginia's data starts in 1987, but we'll just call it, for all the years of the International Coastal Cleanup, 5.1 million pounds of trash have been removed by volunteers across the state. And I wanted to show this map too, because it's hard to see the outline of the state, but this is just all these bubbles and numbers are representing individual cleanups that took place just in 2024 alone. So it's really cool to see all of the inland waterway and watershed cleanups taking place. It's really fantastic. You all have been leaders, especially, compared to other states that have bigger coastlines. The participation numbers in Virginia are really special. So thank you all. If you host one cleanup a year, or maybe you manage a dozen of them, we really appreciate it. And please know that the data are utilized all of the time, and we hope that they are accessible and useful for you as well. If you're interested in more statewide numbers like what you see here, or just more localized to your county or your municipality, feel free to reach out to us and we can walk you through how we find these numbers in the TIDES database, or we can pull even older historic numbers for you if you're interested. And that is all I have. My email is there, ways to get in touch with Ocean Conservancy, some important URLs around the International Coastal Cleanup. We're just really thrilled and excited for yet another year. 40 years is an incredible milestone, and we hope that we don't need to be doing cleanups for 40 more years, but if we do, we'll be here with the resources and the tools to track things and to hopefully implement some real change upstream. I think you'll hear from some other partners about how they have leveraged the ICC locally in specific ways. So, but if any other questions do come up, I am just an email away. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. So that was a really good background on the International Coastal Cleanup and what Virginia has done with the ICC. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our panelists. Thank you again for being here. We have Heather McDaniel. I'll read off your names and titles. If you could just give a little wave, and then we'll go into some questions. So Heather McDaniel, who is the lead park ranger at the Virginia District Division of Interpretation and Education with the Assateague Island National Seashore. Next up, we have Jennifer Chu, the Canoe Cleanup Coordinator at Keep Loud and Beautiful, and Emily Bodsford, the Education and Outreach Specialist at Clean Virginia Waterways. So to kick things off, we can go in that order. Heather, Jennifer, and Emily. Would you mind introducing yourselves and giving a little overview of your organization and your role there?
All right. So my name is Heather McDaniel, and I've been at Assateague Island since 2013. Currently, I'm our lead interpretation and education park ranger in the Virginia district. Assateague Island is actually a 37-mile long barrier island that extends between both Maryland and Virginia. So not only is the Virginia side a national seashore, it's also a national wildlife refuge where we can see over 1 million visitors annually. This entire area is federal public land. So every year in September, there is National Public Lands Day, and we celebrate with the beach cleanup in both districts then. Our most recent, I guess, official one was last National Public Lands Day. For us, the process has become more simple over the years. Down here, the Fish and Wildlife Service used to put on a pretty extravagant cleanup, I guess you could say. I'm sure you guys have seen in the news, positions are declining in the government. So we are not able to be as elaborate, but that's been going on for years. So typically we start with picking a date. So Public Lands Day is usually the last Saturday in September or close to the last day. This year it's the 27th. We then will reach out to the Clean Waterways group. So if we need any supplies, we're able to get those. We also collaborate with our Maryland district to make sure that our events are running concurrently. We are a very confusing place for a lot of people because there's a lot of government going on and we're between two states. So we want to make sure we have our cleanups available at the same time. So no matter where they accidentally show up, they're still able to participate. We then create a press release and social media post. Once we have that time, we will sign up on the Clean Waterways and list our event. After that, I collaborate with our maintenance team to actually do a pre-cleanup of a lot of large debris. So a lot of things that people are not necessarily going to want to haul across the beach that has few dumpsters. So they're grabbing things like large pieces of wood pilings that have washed up, any tires, things like that, that might not be very adequate for just the general public to pick up. We get a few extra dumpsters out to get ready for it. We'll set up an informational signboard with a lot of the supplies that come in the box when you sign up for materials from the Clean Waterways groups. Staff will start getting to our meeting locations for participants. We hand out gloves and trash bags. We ask if they would like to collect data and tell them why it's important. We give them the option to use the paper sheet or the Clean Swell app. We let them head out on their own to collect trash and pick it up. Many will come back with their data sheets to the visitor center to return it. It can be challenging because not everybody wants to collect them, or by the time they're done and we're not actively with them to collect the data sheet when we say like, all right, we're done for the day. If they're too tired to come back in, If the beach parking's too full and they can't find a spot, they're likely not to turn in that sheet. So unfortunately, it is kind of hard sometimes to get that data from people. Being that for us, it's a yearly event. We don't do too much follow through other than when they come in to kind of ask what they think the coolest thing they found was, or what was their least expected. We usually follow up with like a thank you social media post to our events with some pictures of what happened. And then any data that is collected, we'll send it over to the Ocean Conservancy group so that they can tally all of their stuff up.
Thank you so much. That was really comprehensive and already great perspective and so many insights.
Thanks.
Jennifer, would you like to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your role in your organization?
Sure. My name is Jennifer Chu. I'm with Keep Loudoun Beautiful. Keep Loudoun Beautiful is a all volunteer run nonprofit in Loudoun County. I think a lot of jurisdictions have a Keep Fairfax Beautiful, Keep Prince William County Beautiful. We mainly just do litter cleanups and beautification projects, but now mostly just litter cleanups. I'll keep going. The most recent cleanup, Joe?
We'll go to Emily first, then we
Sure.
can cycle through the questions.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Bodsford. I'm the Education and Outreach Coordinator with Clean Virginia Waterways. Part of my role is to help lead the Virginia Waterways cleanup, which is part of the ICC. So it's rallying groups and organizations and everyone that you're with to come together and yeah, keep plastic pollution out of our waterways and to collect that data for lots of important things. So
Thanks, Emily.
yeah.
And Heather, you did a great job going through these questions. So
Sorry, I jumped the gun.
not a problem at all.
There's a lot going on today with hurricane prep, so
I bet. Yeah, no, not a problem. Feel free to elaborate any if you'd like, or wait for audience Q&A. But for Jennifer and Emily, we have some other guiding questions. If you could just talk about what your most recent cleanup was and kind of what the step-by-step process is to starting a cleanup. And as a fun fact, Keep Loudoun Beautiful was the first organization or first Clean Virginia Waterway registered organization to do a cleanup during International Coastal Cleanup season. So congrats.
Yes, I was like, I'll go through one of my tough, if I have a difficult time trying to promote it. So I was so happy to find the ICC website. I was like, oh, I got to post it because this is the group I'm targeting. But it seemed like on your website started in September. I was like, oh, can I just get it on? It's like our cleanup was August 3rd. And I forgot to mention, so with Keep Loudoun Beautiful, I'm the board secretary and I lead the canoe cleanup, our annual canoe cleanup. We go in canoes on the Potomac River and we pick up tires and trash. And so our step-by-step process is we confirm a date and location with the canoe outfitter and the venue. Working on the Potomac River, we have a hard time finding access to the river, a takeout location and a put-in location. So it's either public access or we have to ask a private landowner if we can use their boat ramp. So we have to, always beg to use their private property, private boat ramps. So we confirm a date and the location, and then we make sure that make sure the river outfitter is okay with that date and the venue is okay with that date. For the outfitter, August is usually better because there's less rain. End of summer, before beginning of fall, there's less rain, so we can see the trash in the river. And he always gives us Sunday because that's when he doesn't have a lot of business going on. Saturday is a busy day for him for scout troops or families wanting to go out on the river. So Sunday is less busy. So he lets us use it and he gives us a little bit of a discount. So that's key for getting a date. Then I open up the registration. I use Sign Up Genius because it's easy to use. And I emailed the past participants I email our area leaders in our Keep Loud and Beautiful group. I email our email list. And I'm not very tech savvy, so I post to the local newspapers. We have 2 newspapers. It comes out. I'm very happy. I find some listservs like like the ICC website, and then Sierra Club. I'm on a listserv. Some of our other board members have Facebook, so they'll post it to Facebook. And then after that, we hope that people sign up, and I book the dumpster. We have 2 dumpsters. I book the porta potty. And then we just confirm logistics with the board, like who's gonna do what, where, what time are they coming? We bring tables, and we bring all like different things, a tent, chairs, and pizza. And then it happens, and we cross our fingers it doesn't rain. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's our process.
So our
Rain.
our process is a little different because we are working with lots of different cleanups across the state. So this is an effort that goes on year round, but we start really promoting and reaching out to former site captains and potential new partners and businesses and organizations that could be new site captains. In this, we'll start sharing a registration form for the Virginia Waterways cleanup that runs from August through December. And so with that, on that Google sign up form, it's got a supply request. So your group can request gloves, bags, grabbers, anything you need. Also provide us with your sign up link to your specific cleanup, along with the date and time. And then we take that information, we list it on our website, and then we ship out your materials before your cleanup date. And then we give you the run through with the site captain handbook that's on our website, along with data cards, because the data is what's so important. Yep. And then so after that time, we do a follow-up. After your cleanup, ask you to collect, submit your data cards, send out thank yous. And yeah, so this is my first year with the Virginia Waterways cleanup through the ICC. But I have worked with a more local nonprofit running cleanups for about 10 years before this. So it's really interesting to see, on a larger scale, how we're organizing it and how it works locally. So that's in a nutshell our process.
And last year at a previous role, that was my first time organizing a cleanup as well. And I had organized it through Clean Virginia Waterways. And it was so seamless because I just filled out the Google form of what I needed, and then it arrived in the mail to my office. I had the pickers and the gloves and the bags. I was like, this it's amazing.
It's going to be like that again this year.
Awesome. So what is the most challenging part of organizing a cleanup for all of you?
So should I go first?
Sure.
The most challenging part for us is to make sure the canoes are filled. We are renting the canoes, and we pay for the canoe rentals, whether there are people sitting in the canoes or not. So I've learned that if you open registration too early, people sign up right away and then forget about it and not show up. So it's early, but not too early. So maybe 6 weeks in advance, I find is good. And then if a save the date is also good. Let them know as soon as there's a date, so they can save the date, but they don't register yet, because then if they register 2 months in advance, they'll forget. They won't show up. And also, we used to do it for free, and then everyone signs up when it's free, and then they don't bother showing up, or don't bother letting you know, and it's kind of too late the day of to notify the wait list. So we kind of charge a fee now. I feel guilty to have people pay to volunteer, but it guarantees that they'll think about reserving a spot if they have to put some money down. So that's our most challenging part. I don't know how other groups do it, but yeah, filling our canoes.
Either I can go, or if you want to go.
Go ahead.
What I'm finding just in the few months I've been working with this is that getting people and putting that emphasis on the data collection and using those cards and using those apps. A lot of the groups and organizations are well-oiled machines, and I've been doing these cleanups often they've been doing it for years. I worked with a group over the summer, and it was tough to get them on board with those data cards. That, it's hard. You've got a trash bag, grabbers, you're walking around, you're trying to tally every little piece of trash when you just really want to get it all off the beach. So putting in, I think my goal is definitely just emphasizing how important it is for us to use that data to summarize reports, to share with policymakers, and to develop educational campaigns. So if you guys have any suggestions of what could make that more convincing or easier when out working with those individual groups.
Awesome. And I see Cindy has raised a hand. Feel free to take yourself off mute, Cindy, when you can.
She's trying. It's the microphone little icon on the bottom. It's the icon all the way on the left. You can do it, actually.
It's all right. Feel free to type it into the chat, too. We'll get to it.
Right.
Mark, go ahead.
Hey, everybody, can you hear me? Great. I was going to echo what Emily said, that getting people to actually collect the data certainly has been the biggest challenge. I've done dozens of cleanups over the years, and that's certainly the biggest challenge. And one of the things I was going to make a suggestion about is it's nice to give examples of how the data has been used to push, regulation and things like that forward. And in Virginia in particular, both the balloon bill, the balloon ban in Virginia for releasing balloons, as well as the styrofoam, the styrofoam ban that's just happened. And in addition to that, the plastic bag fee that's now available to localities. Every one of those things, when we were talking to the General Assembly, we were using data that was collected from these cleanups in order to make the point of why these were such important environmental impacts. And without the data collection, you don't have that information. So that's really, really powerful. And I think it resonates with people too that are a little bit hesitant. When you tell them this is what it leads to, I think they can get a little more motivated.
Found it. Can you hear me? All right. I'm with Shenandoah Green, and we participate in the Chesapeake Bay Foundation's Cleanup Day, which is normally the first Saturday of June. And how we've done it is that for each team, there is one data collector. So you're not doing collecting and recording. So people just shout out. Who has the clipboard in his or her hand, puts it down. And for people who are detail oriented and maybe don't want to get wet, it's a great job. There's somebody that'll love to do it.
That's a great point, Cindy. Yeah, I've noticed it's helped trying to get either as a team during these cleanups or a buddy system, and having one person focusing on the picking up and yelling out what they're finding, another person doing the recording. So you guys have it down. Thank you.
The data collection is definitely a problem for us too. Ours is more of an individual cleanup. Even though it's an event, we don't really have teams signing up unless it's like a scout troop coming in. So when you just have like one family, it's kind of hard to get them to want to collect the data because they've got kids or stuff they're trying to wrangle to begin with. But we've also kind of noticed, since we no longer offer to drive people down the beach, our partner agency used to do that. We're not allowed. We're noticing that we're really only cleaning up a set area versus kind of a whole 37-mile beach. So we're really only probably doing about 2 miles of it. So that's kind of one of our bigger challenges, is that we're kind of just still going over the spot that's getting cleaned daily anyways.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And that's always a challenge with cleanups, is that there may be an accumulation site in a really inaccessible area, which is partially why it's an accumulation site. But maybe the important part there is just engaging people and making them feel more connected and to the environment and to their local beaches. Do you like get any feedback from the families who are maybe grateful to have the experience, or like shocked that they found a tire or something?
There are, and it's usually the people who are willing to walk further. We have a couple groups who will actually come out on their own, who have like a permit to drive down the beach, and they do it as kind of like their community service, I guess, for their company. So we have like independent cleanups throughout the year of companies who need to come out and do a service. But for the general public, we started a new site for people to start at, so they don't have to start simply down at the beach. They can start at one of our bike loops that goes out to the beach about 2 miles north. So that's helped some, but other than that, it's very localized, I guess.
That's cool. That's cool that there's a new spot with where the bike loop is, because that's where a lot of people will be, and so more opportunities, unfortunately, for litter potentially. We have some hands raised. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, thanks. I was just going to make one more point. At the site where I've typically worked, it's been at the Virginia Aquarium or adjacent to the Virginia Aquarium, and we also get a lot of individuals come out as opposed to groups. And one of the things that I'm not particularly tech savvy, but I'm pretty impressed with Clean Swell, and I've done cleanups myself where I'm solo, and it's amazingly easy to use, even though you're the one doing the cleanup as well as recording the data. And I try to share that with people to sort of make them feel a little more comfortable about it, because again, having done it myself, and again, I'm not particularly tech savvy, but it's pretty easy to use and very effective. So I think it really is worth doing a little bit extra to get people to use the app if they're willing. It certainly makes it easier.
Definitely. And I used to take paper copies and then just enter into the app myself afterwards, because it is easy to use. It's very quick. And then it's really cool to go onto the Tides database afterwards to see all the data. Zach, go ahead. You got your hand raised.
There is some benefit to only cleaning up that one small area. That's how we learn accumulation rates. If we just have the consistent data coming from that 2 mile stretch. So that can be really valuable as well. Getting data collection when it's just a few people or a family is definitely difficult. Depending on the kid's age, I like to put the children in charge of data collection. Gets them fired up and gives them something else to do. They have to be old enough. The 3-year-old sitting with me, I wouldn't put her in charge of data collection. She's like a beacon for sharp glass. If they're 8 years old, you put that clipboard in their hand, they're like beeline.
That's awesome. Really good to know. Go ahead, Clean City. I saw your name in the
Wendy.
chat. Wendy, thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
One of the things we do is partner with our local public schools and private schools now this year. it works very well because the teacher does the data collection and the kids are very excited and they're able to work it into the curriculum. So if you're not already partnering with your local schools, we did it with public schools for a lot of years. Last year, we started partnering with the Montessori school and a Christian school, and it has worked incredibly well. And the other thing, I put a message in the chat. If you are on Facebook, please do share your, or in our Instagram, share what you your name there with us. So we like to follow and see what everybody else is doing. I have to tell you, we launched a new campaign. I do our social media, so it's a big focus for me, is to push everything I can out about ICC and about coastal cleanups, because we are a peninsula. So if you're not waterfront property today, you may be tomorrow, especially with Aaron.
Nice. And before we go over to Emily, Wendy, could you share a little bit about how you make those connections with the schools?
Sure. And by the way, Amy, I'm in Hampton, Virginia. One of our board members, she actually became a board member, but we'd already been working with schools for a lot of years. We do, we do a lot of outreach with the public schools and let teachers know. And it could be just random conversation. My sister's a teacher, but we were already doing outreach before I even did anything with her students. And so it's just a matter of finding out who your first connection is in a school, and then get them to help you springboard that from there. So last year, I took this over 2 years ago, and I reached out to some of my sister's friends that are teachers. They hooked me up with other people. I've already had one teacher. I just put the promotion out yesterday for ICC. And I had one teacher email me yesterday evening saying, hey, I want my 5th graders to go out and do this. Okay.
That's fantastic. Thank you for that. Emily, go ahead.
Real quick, just going off of what she just mentioned, there's lots of great ways to get involved with the schools. I know each locality has a different process, but one I found very helpful and easy is I know Virginia Beach, we do a Partners Through Education application, and that puts your organization on a list for the schools when they're looking to have cleanups or have different outreach with organizations outside of the school. You're like a certified member on that list. So I know some other localities around the state work the same way as Virginia Beach, but in the past, it's definitely been helpful and a really easy way to get into the schools. And then I think you had your hand up.
Yeah. Another method of collecting data, especially if you're on just like a straight beach area, it's not like you're crawling in and out of bushes or anything, is to actually have some volunteers show up early and go ahead of the group and collect the data that they see without actually picking it up. And then you have the rest of your volunteer group then go behind them and pick up all the trash. So you're probably still going to miss a few things by doing it that way, because you're not like shuffling through the grasses and what have you, but it's still better than nothing. So that was one method of doing it. And then another thing I wanted to mention too is our ICC season is August through November, December. But anytime you're out there picking up trash or on the beach and you pick up a few things, I still hop on Clean Swell, record it, no matter what time of the year. And paddleboarding, sometimes out there paddleboarding and I'm throwing trash on the front of my paddleboard. And when I get back to the dock, I then spread it out on the dock if it's not too windy and break out the Clean Swell app and record it. So there's a lot of different ways you can do it. I know our interns just had a cleanup on Sunday. They did the cleanup and then they went through all the trash after the fact. So there are a few different ways. It's not going to be perfect. We would love for it to be perfect, but it still gives you a snapshot view of what you're collecting. And I think that's what's really important. And another thing I wanted to mention, we had a really good question on Facebook yesterday. We had posted our top 10 list. Emily and I were just talking about this. Our top 10 list doesn't include balloons, if you look at it. But if you're on an ocean-facing beach up there in Assateague, you find tons of balloons. So why aren't balloons in the top 10 list? Well, it's because most of those balloons are actually washing in from the ocean. So the inland waterway cleanups are not capturing that information. So if you wanted to look, if you go on the Tides database, and if you're a data nerd, it's a lot of fun to play around with. And you just kind of parse out what you really want to see. If it's that coastal data, you can kind of do a really specific look at that data and then say, oh, I see. So there's actually very few plastic bags on the beach and lots of balloons, whereas on the inland, sorry, there's a lot of jets flying over our head right now. Sorry about that. The more inland waterways, you might capture a lot more cigarette butts and plastic bags and not see as many balloons. So, for your area, if you're trying to entice people to collect that data, I would encourage you to go on that Tides database and find that compelling story for your volunteers to influence them and encourage them. That's all.
Thank you, Christina.
Mhm.
We got time for one more question. Go ahead, Michael.
Oh, hi. I just wanted to add a couple things. If you're the next generation, you did mention Katie Register. Katie Register recruited me to volunteer for Clean Virginia Waterways cleanups back in the late 90s in Richmond and an Earth Day event. So my name may pop up somewhere in records from dating back toward that date. Okay. Something that helps me out during cleanups now is that I work with the Department of Parks and Rec in the city that I do the cleanup for, and they help me out during the days of the cleanups. They'll offer bags if I need them. They tongs to pick up stuff if I need them. They'll send a truck out after the cleanup to pick up the bags. The app helps me if I'm there by myself or with a small number. The apps help me keep up with recording the data. And I take with me to a cleanup a luggage scale, which I will hang on a tree limb. And when I want to weigh a bag, I attach one bag to the luggage scale and weigh it, take a photograph of it with the cell phone, and then I have a weight for each bag and a record of how much it weighed. So when I'm getting all my data together, it's in the phone app. If I fill out the paperwork, I've got photographs to refer to get the weights of the bags, etc. So I've got it down to where the record keeping is really easy for me now, doing those things.
That's great. Thank you, Michael. And it's really important to know about those local resources for helping the trash get picked up. I want to turn it back over to Heather, Jennifer, and Emily. We have a few more minutes left. Do you have any other final notes or anything to add? Feel free.
I appreciate everyone on this call who has registered to be a site captain so far to contribute to this important work and data collected for our state. So if you haven't, I will put the sign up link in the chat and encourage you all to be part of this. So
awesome. Thank you. Zach, if you don't mind holding on 1 second, I just want to share my screen real quick in the last few minutes for this meeting because there are a few VP3N updates I'd like to share. So here is the agenda that is in the chat. So let me know if you need the link again. But there are a few more things that I want to call your attention to. One is if you would like to volunteer to be a note taker for future VP3N meetings, please feel free to do that at the link up here for note takers. Right now we're using Gemini, and as an organization dedicated to protecting our waterways and keeping them clean, we'd like to move away from using AI note taking, which is very water intensive. Also, for all of our VP3N meetings, we have guest speakers each month. So if you would like to volunteer for that, or you have a topic in mind, an organization in mind, feel free to add that to speakers/topics here. There's a link if you click on it. And then I will go through that gradually and start contacting people. If you have any newsletter content, any events, publications, anything you want to add that to the top of this document as well. And in our newsletter, we add plastic reduction tips. So again, 2 more links up here on the agenda to add in, and we'll add it in our newsletters. Also, if you are here in the meeting and want your logo up on our VP3N website, feel free to fill out the school form for Join the VP3N, and we will get you recognized as an official member of the VP3N. And lastly, we do have a listserv for VP3N members. If you'd like to be added to it, contact me, and I will get you added to that. So it's just a place for people to type or write emails to everyone else saying, we have an event here, or I have a question about this, I'd like advice. So it's meant for that kind of constant communication. So let me know if you'd like to be added to that. And I'm going to put a link to the agenda again in the chat so you have that link. I'm going to stop sharing. And Zach, please feel free to chime in.
So Mark mentioned us using the data for advocacy, and a lot of that starts in our research reports and our policy reports. Our most recent one on recycling refund programs uses over 30 years of ICC data. They're all on our website. We encourage everyone to check them out.
Wonderful. Thank you, Zach. All right, we are almost at time. This is a really great conversation. I hope you learned a lot from this. We got the agenda, so I'll send out the notes when they are ready. Just one last call if anyone has anything to add, feel free. Otherwise, thank you so much for attending. Yeah, Emily, go ahead.
I just wanted to give a shout out to our t-shirts that are available through, what is that website? We can never remember the name of it. Custom Ink.
Custom Ink.
If you would like a volunteer t-shirt for this year's ICC, they are available. It's kind of a way to get a t-shirt, but it's also a small fundraiser. We do have 2 grants that are helping us with all these supplies and staff that go into the ICC here in Virginia. So we get a grant from the Chesapeake Bay Restoration Fund.
Mm-hmm.
Those Chesapeake Bay friends of the Chesapeake Bay license plates, we get money for that. That's what's paying for all the supplies that you all get. And then this year we got a grant from the Curtis and Edith Munson Foundation to help us pay our staff to help organize the ICC here in Virginia. And the t-shirts, if we can sell 50, that will help us cover all of the shipping money that we spend to have all of those supplies shipped to you. So you can see the link to the t-shirts on the website. You can share that with your volunteers. They will be shipping out. I think the window closes probably in a week or so to purchase them, and then they will be shipped out, and you should receive them by the 17th. And most of the cleanups occur the 20th and beyond that. So sorry if your cleanup is on the 13th. This is kind of a last minute thing, but
Really cool design.
yeah, you should still get a t-shirt because it has a beautiful leatherback sea turtle on it. Leatherbacks are the turtles that are most well known for eating jellies. And as we all know, jellies and plastic bags and balloons all kind of look alike to a sea turtle. So we wanted him to be our iconic species of this year. If you know Katie, and if you've seen t-shirts in the past, you know she's used every single sea turtle, or turtle, I should say, that you can find in Virginia on those shirts. So I did leatherback this year.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Just wanted to make sure, Michael, did you have your hand up, or was that a holdover from earlier?
It's probably a holdover from earlier.
Not a problem. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Always feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Feel free to contact Clean Virginia Waterways. We're here, and I will see you next month.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks,
Bye,
Joe.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
You too.